जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन गिरिवर जय गोपी जन जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरवन राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीरवनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे, जय राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी राधे, जय बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथामितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितान्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं भंगुं लंघयते गिरिं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवता। Hare Krishna, I welcome you all for this Friday's Bhagavad Gita class. So we have been discussing chapter 4 and we've completed 3 sections. So we'll cover 4th section today. So chapter 4 is all about transcendental knowledge. And this is chapter 3 revision. This is chapter 4. So Krishna spoke to Arjun about who he is, why he takes birth, and what are his activities. And he says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yuvachitatvata. That is the example he is giving here in terms of how and what does he do in this world when he comes. So we discussed the first three sections. So the first section is all about the eternal education. Why we need to have the knowledge of Krishna. Who is Krishna? We talked about the knowledge parampara, that this knowledge is given by Krishna in the parampara. And this parampara was broken, and that's why he had to give it to Arjuna again. Vedas are indefeasible truths, which are apaurisheya, which are not to be destroyed, or something which is going to be eternal. And there are 4 sampradayas we talked about: Shri Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, and Shiva Sampradaya. And this knowledge which we are now discussing is coming from this particular parampara. Now, then we discussed how there is spiritual beauty versus material beauty. And then Krishna talked about how he appears and what all activities he does. Right? Then we talked about accurate understanding. That's the second section, which talks about how there are different people doing different things. Right? And the question which is asked many times is, do all the paths lead to the same goal? So the answer is no. All the paths do not lead to the same goal. There are different paths for people who take different directions, and they go in different directions. It's not that all the roads will take you to the same destination. Not possible. So then why are people worshipping so many different gods? So we talked about how Krishna reciprocates with the people in terms of their surrender. So if I am fully surrendering, Krishna fully gives to you. If I am partially surrendering, or I'm not surrendering at all, I'm not worshipping Krishna, Krishna reciprocates that way. That's why people go to worship demigods, because they get immediate results. So that's what Krishna talks about here. People worship demigods because they get immediate results. And then Krishna spoke about the 4 varnas and the 4 ashramas. Chatur varnam maya shishtam gunakarma vibhagasah tasya kartaram apimam vidya kartaram abhyam. Krishna also spoke about how namam karmani limpanti. Neither of these karma, neither of these results actually affect me, because I am beyond this. Right? Name karma palispriya iti mam avijanati karma dhibirna sabhaddati. Krishna is saying these things don't affect me. Right? Then Krishna spoke about removing reactions. Okay? Basically, Jnana Yoga combined with Karma Yoga, he's going to talk about. He talked about how there is a different, it's a very, very complicated matter to understand karma, akarma, and vikarma. So we talked about this. कर्मणोप्यो बोद्धव्यम बोद्धव्यम च विकर्मणा अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यम गहनो कर्मणा गति. Gahano कर्मणा गति. Very, very difficult to understand why some things are happening like what we are happening. Very, very difficult. It's a very, very intricate and esoteric topic. Right? So we talked about many of these things, the science of karma, destiny, and so on and so forth. So Krishna is now talking about the symptoms of an detached worker. Nishkam karma yoga mein jo karte hain kaam, unke what are the symptoms of that? The symptoms are that they are peaceful, they do not indulge in sense gratification, right? And they are in the stage of perfection or samadhi, right? And then Krishna introduces yajna in this particular shloka. 23-24, he talks about yajna, right? Brahmarpana brahmahavir, brahmagno brahmanahutam, brahmeva tena gantavyam, brahma karma samadhina. So he talks about a yajna here. And that is the exact section which we're going to cover in the next section, which is the today's section, right? Okay, so we'll talk about sacrifice. So till now, Krishna has spoken about his own transcendental knowledge. Then he spoke about how he reciprocates with people in different manner, and that's why people go and worship different demigods. And he talked about how he spoke about his reciprocation. He spoke about Varnashram Dharma, how he is not attached. And then Krishna spoke about, how to realize the knowledge by working in a mood of Nishkam Karma. Without expecting any result, how do you work? That's what he explained. And in third chapter also it was explained much more detail. And in fifth chapter it will be explained in more details. Right? So you will see that Krishna actually talks about Karma Yoga in 2-3 chapters. And that is the importance of Karma Yoga. Krishna never says कि नहीं सब कुछ छोड़ के घर पे बैठ जाओ. No, or go to jungle. No, he never says that. Krishna is actually talking on focusing on Karma Yoga a lot. And so now is the last section which talks about sacrifice. So now sacrifice, what do you mean by sacrifice? Sacrifice means something which you like, you are giving it to somebody. That is sacrifice. Voluntarily you are giving, not by force. Voluntarily you give something to somebody, that is called as sacrifice. Out of love, out of duty, out of service, or whatever it is, right? That is called a sacrifice. Now, why is Krishna, Krishna talking so much about sacrifice here? Because he mentioned that in the earlier slokas, 21st sloka. Now he is going to explain in detail, right? So now looking at this section, you might say, hey, why is Krishna talking so much about demigod worshippers, karma kandis, nyaya kandis, ashtanga yogis, charitable people? Because any type of sacrifice in the world gives you results. So for example, one wants to become a chartered accountant or a medical professional or an engineer. Engineer ke liye utna padha nahi karna padta. But let's say an IIT engineer. So now that child has to actually study a lot. Now what is he sacrificing? What is he sacrificing? He's sacrificing his time. He's sacrificing his energy. He's sacrificing his play. He could have gone outside with the same age children and played, or he could have gone to movies and whatsoever. But he's sacrificing that for what? For a higher purpose. What is the higher purpose? Higher purpose is he will be able to make a good career out of his, whatever profession he's going to chase, medical profession or engineering profession or whatever profession he's going to choose. So similarly, even in the material world, there is sacrifice involved. The mother, she is selfless and she sacrifices everything for the child. When a child is very, very small, the mother tends to the child, and the child even gets up in the night. Though 3 baar alag-alag jagah, alag-alag time bachcha uthta hai, and the father doesn't know anything about it, but the mother is awake and she's जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि नींद खराब कर दी. Her sleep is gone. She is not able to sleep the entire night. But she is sacrificing her sleep for what? For the well-being of the child, for her love for the child, right? Similarly, a husband might sacrifice some of these things for her wife. Similarly, wife would sacrifice. So even in this material world, we see that there is sacrifice where we, which is involved for getting a higher pleasure or higher goal of life. That is what Krishna is trying to say here. He's saying there are different kinds of sacrifices involved even in the spiritual realm. Forget about the material realm. Spiritual realm mein bhi sacrifice karna jaruri hai. So first he talks about demigod worshippers. So karma kandis who worship demigods, they also sacrifice. What do they sacrifice? They sacrifice their money, they sacrifice their time, they sacrifice their ingredients, they sacrifice many, many things. Correct? So that's why they are also performing some amount of sacrifice. For example, some people do Satyanarayan Puja, right? Some people do Ganpati worship, some people do Durga worship. And now they are sacrificing their money, they're sacrificing their time. It involves time. If you worship demigod, in fact, the demigod worship is much more intricate and much more detailed than a Krishna's worship. Because Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. मेरे लिए पुष्प दे दो, फल दे दो, पानी दे दो, बस हो गया, मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा. But demigods are not like that. Demigods has to be, worshipped in a proper way. Ganpati, Durga, Satyanarayan, all these people have to worship in a proper way. Only then they get, you have to follow the particular routine. So then, there has to be there that you have to properly follow the routine. Then some people worship Brahman. Brahman means actually the Brahma Jyoti which is coming from the Krishna's body. So some people worship Brahman. But Hare Krishna devotees or Krishna's devotees, Krishna conscious devotees, they sacrifice everything. Right? They sacrifice everything for the worship of Krishna. Like there was a king called as Rantidev. Rantidev was a great king and he was doing an austerity of fasting for about 60 days without eating anything or without drinking anything. And it was the time for him to break the fast. Then there was a discussion going on between Vishnu and all the demigods. And all the demigods were asking, कि भगवान ये आपका सबसे बड़ा भक्त कौन है? Who is the devotee who is the greatest among you? Greatest among the devotees. And Krishna says, right now, Rantidev is the greatest one. The demigod says, okay, let us try to see if he passes the test. So one by one, the demigod started coming to Rantidev while he is about to break the fast, because he had went to a forest. And you might ask, Raja hai to ghar pe sabko khana hona chahiye. Why is he talking about limited food? Because he had gone to Kambivan, which is the place where Pandavas lived for a long time, and he was doing austerity there. And he was brought a plate of food, and he was about to break his fast when a Brahmana came. And he said, I am hungry, would you like to spare some food? So he gave half of his food. Then another fellow came and he said, okay, you take another half of the food. The food is finished now. Then a Chandala comes and then he drinks water. ऐसे 3-4 लोग आते हैं, and Rantidev, although he is dying because of thirst and hunger, if he didn't have little water, he would have died. But that did not shy away him from serving the people. And he gave everything. And then he was about to drink the water also finished. So nothing was remaining. So he was satisfied. He was not, criticizing, saying, अरे मैं अभी फास्ट ब्रेक करने वाला था, ये कैसे आ गए बीच में? कैसे लोग हैं यार? समझ में नहीं आता, कोई मैनर्स नहीं, एटिकेट्स नहीं. No, he was fully satisfied and he wanted to serve these people from his heart. He said, at least my life has been successful by serving some people. ऐसे करके he was about to die. But then the 4 people who came to test Rantidev, the demigods, they showed him their own Swarupa and said, you have succeeded in your mission of satisfying us. And he was given the rejuvenated body and he went back to spiritual world. So like that, you will see the devotees of Krishna sacrifice everything. Bali Maharaj, Atma Nivedam, he is the foremost, which means he gave everything whichever wanted by Vishnu in the form of Vamandev. One time there was a Grahastha couple who were disciples of Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya, he was in his ashram, and he heard some of the sannyasis say, "Arey, we have given up our entire life for Krishna's service, our Guru Maharaj service, and our Guru Maharaj is only appreciating that Grahastha. That Grahastha is attached to his money, his bungalow, his wife, and he's appreciating him." So Ramanujacharya called all the sannyasis. You think I am, being partial? You will see how this Grahastha will succeed in his test. So what did he do? The next day in the ashram, he tore all the coupons of the sannyasis who were staying. And the next day, as soon as the sannyasis woke up, they saw their coupons, underwears. They were torn. So they started fighting with each other. Hey, tumhare karan hua hai, tumhare karan hua hai, tumhare karan hua hai. And Ramanujacharya was just standing there and looking at each of them. And then they just stood there saying, देखो आप लोग एक कोपन के लिए इतना झगड़ा कर रहे हो, and you're talking about being, renunciate. You do one thing now. Today evening you go to my disciples home, Grahastha disciples home, and you ask them that Guru Maharaj is in want of some money. Why don't you give some money? ऐसे करके वो गए. So when they went there, 3-4 disciples, sannyasi disciples, they saw that the male disciple was not there, Grahastha disciple was not there, but wife was there, and she was sleeping on the couch or whatever bed. So they thought, "Abhi kaise वापस जाएं?" So we will probably test more than what our Guru Maharaj has asked. What will we do? We will take away the jewels of this lady, and if she cries out, then we'll go and tell Guru Maharaj, "Dekho, we want to take this jewel, and she is opposing." So she was sleeping on one side, and they gradually took some jewels from the other side, and they wanted to take the jewels or the ornament from the other side, but she was sleeping. So she understood what is happening because she was also a great devotee. So she turned herself so that they could take the other part. But they thought she has woken up, so they ran away. But the Guru Maharaj had told them that you stay outside the home. So they stayed outside the home and waited for the Grahastha to come. So when the Grahastha came, the wife started speaking to her. You know what? Looks like our Guru Maharaj needs some money. He sent his disciples today to take away my jewels, to take away my ornaments. Looks like, he really needs some money. Why don't we go and, donate everything what we have? And the husband said, then what did you do? And she said, look, I was lying on one side, and they took away all my jewels of one side. But then I turned myself so that they could take the jewels from the other side. But looks like they thought I woke up, that's why they ran away. And the husband started chastising. Why couldn't you wake up, properly so that you could give everything to them? It is the only way we can serve our Guru Maharaj, and you actually lost that opportunity. When the sannyasi disciples heard this, they were spellbound. They were astonished. They were thinking, Bapre, ye bhakti hai? This is called as bhakti because they are ready to surrender everything and anything. That is called a Krishna conscious devotee. A devotee who is ready to give everything. जो भी है मेरे पास भगवान का है, गुरु महाराज का है. I am ready to give everything. That is the bhav. Otherwise, the other worshippers, if you look at, they will give something and they want more in return. कि देखो, मैं अभी सत्यनारायण पूजा कर रहा हूँ, मेरे घर में सब कुछ ठीक होना चाहिए. मैं अभी गणपति की पूजा कर रहा हूँ, मेरा बिजनेस ठीक चलना चाहिए. That is their mentality, which is a what is called businessman mentality, right? Vanik mentality, is it said like that? Then, so Brahman worshippers do worship of the Brahman or the Brahmajyoti. Mind control is done by the Brahmacharis. Brahmacharis means people who live in the Gurukul or the ashram, temple, right? Now, how do they control their mind? Because the Brahmacharis are living alone, their mind is their greatest friend or enemy. I mean, for Grahasthas like us, we at least have our family to share things. But for them, it is only them and their mind. That's all. That's why they have to offer the senses in the fire of mind control. I mean, mind control karna bahut important hai unke liye. For them, it is engaging everything in Krishna service. Then the Grahasthas like us, we have supposed to offer sense enjoyment in the fire of sense. इसका मतलब क्या है कि Grahasthas are generally attached to sense enjoyment, right? They want to enjoy senses. उनको मूवी देखने का होता है, उनको सीरियल देखने का होता है. They want to go and eat outside. They want to go and enjoy themselves. That has to be controlled. That has to be what you call sacrificed for the purpose of the higher good. That is called as sense enjoyment sacrifice done by the Grahasthas. Right? Then there is self-control. Now this is Ashtanga Yoga. By using Patanjali Sutra, you can actually do pranayams and you can control the air within the body. That is called as Ashtanga Yoga. Right? By doing that, you are actually controlling your mind. Right? That's also a way of worshipping. But here it's a very, very difficult process. Ashtanga Yoga means sitting in one posture, controlling your breath there, and then focusing on your different nabhis and different places of the, I don't know what, I forget the name. But you are doing that and you are trying to control the health self, the life air. There are different kinds of air, 6 kinds of air in the body. So the Ashtanga Yogi is controlling them so that gradually he can lift the soul upwards until the soul leaves the body from the top of the head. This is called as Mooladhara Chakra. This Mooladhara Chakra is the place. There's a small hole here which we can't see, but from that the soul can depart, and when it departs, it goes to the heavenly planets or it goes to the spiritual, depending upon what he was meditating upon. Right? Like Dhritarashtra did Ashtanga Yoga, and then he burned himself by the power of mystic yoga, and he was able to go to the Brahman. He actually merged in Brahman, like that. Similarly, many Ashtanga yogis have done that, but in this age it is very difficult. एक जगह बैठना मुश्किल होता है. Forget about doing Ashtanga. Then people do Dravya Yajna, which means they donate charity or they do charity. They give money for temples or food for life or so many other purposes, right? That is called Dravya Yajna. Then there is Tapo Yajna. Tapo Yajna means austerity karna. जैसे Hiranyakashipu was doing austerity like this, right? He was standing 10,000 years like this. हम लोग एक मिनट नहीं खड़ा हो सकते, but he was doing austerities. A lot of people do this. If you look at Jain people, they, you know, especially the sadhavis or the people who have dedicated themselves, like, you know, sannyasis or brahmachari, they pull their hair like this. You know, they don't cut it. They pull their hair. They walk without their shoes. They hardly eat in places. तो बहुत austerity होती है उनका. So their focus is only austerity. उसमें कुछ भी भक्ति नामक चीज नहीं है. They are focusing on कि austerity करना है, right? That's called a tapo yajna. Then there is yoga yajna. Yoga yajna means person is performing yajna to get some mystic yogas. There are 8 kinds of mystic yogas. You know? What are those? Asita, and then I forget the names now. Right? There are 8 kinds. I'll tell you the name sometime. So they perform that so that they can, you know, get the 8 siddhis, like which Hanuman has 8 siddhis. Right? They can become smaller of the smallest. They can become bigger of the biggest. Right? Like that. Lagima and Prapti and Shashti. There are 8 kinds of mystic yogas. In some of them, you can sit on the sun rays and you go to the sun planet, or sit on the moon rays and go to the moon planet. You can sit here and, you know, pluck pomegranate in Afghanistan from the orchard of Afghanistan. ये कर सकते हो. Prabhupada says in one of the lectures, he says, I was sitting in a ashram of a fellow, and he asked his disciple, तुम्हें क्या खाना है? The yogi, he said, मुझे pomegranate खाना है. And he fetched his hand and he pulled a pomegranate from Afghanistan's, you know, orchard, and he gave it to his disciple. Look how, and then he saw it was, you know, fresh because even the what do you call, the gum was actually dripping from the fruit. It was very fresh, and he saw it was a, you know, fabulous fruit, because in Afghanistan, it seems, I have never eaten it, but it seems you get very nice pomegranates. So he was able to do that. उसको बोलते हैं, you know, yoga siddhi. You can do whatever you want. People do yoga siddhi in the negative as well. They do, you know, black magic, and then they trouble people. That also is done, but that's in the negative way. But in positive way, people can do that. One time, Radhanath Maharaj, I think I told you this story. When he went to Himalayas, he was, you know, he met many people like that, and they were able to read his mind. They were able to understand, you know, what has happened in his past life. They were able to tell him कि तुम ऐसे hitchhiking करके आए हो, and he never told these stories to them. So like that, they have mystic yogas, right? Like I used to think like this, and I was in US in 2009 or 2010. So I had started practicing spirituality, and when I went to my friend's place in US, this was in Austin, Texas. I had gone for a company's, you know, 1 week training there. And when I went to him and I tried to explain him everything, he could not understand. He was like, hey, it's a bakwas hai. This is all, you know, technique to basically keep people calm and peaceful and busy. That's what his theory was. So I was thinking, only if I had the mystic yoga to levitate, to float, then I could have told him the entire logic and he could have, you know, got convinced. So, you know, when you are immature, you think like that. So that's what I was thinking. But this eightfold mysticism is also a distraction in one's life. Right? Like one time, who was it? I forget the name now. But there was a Grahastha. There was a Grahastha in Grahastha or Brahmachari. I think it was Brahmachari. Brahmachari in Chowpatty, Mumbai temple. This person was very sincere in his bhakti. But his parents didn't like it. So one time some Baba came and he told the parents, hey, this ISKCON is very bad. You Hare Krishna kar raha hai to bahut galat kar raha hai, bagara bagara. And the parents got really mad. Kyun kar raha hai tu sabhi? Galat hai ye sab kuch. Ghar pe baith ja tu. So he was thinking, now kya hoga mera? So he started praying. So after a few days, one yogi came, Yogi Baba, and he was showing magic. सब अलग अलग प्रकार का मैजिक दिखा रहा था. So he showed magic, and the parents were really impressed. अरे बाप रे, क्या मैजिक दिखाता है? And they called him, invited him home, and they showed him their son. बोला कि देखो पागल की तरह ये ब्रह्मचारी बना हुआ, उसको जरा समझाओ प्लीज, आप ब्रह्मचारी मत बनो. Then he looked at the parents and said, actually he looked at the brahmachari and said, this person and me, both of them were friends in our last life. हम दोनों मित्र थे, हम दोनों भक्ति कर रहे थे, right? And he said, and we got the birth here now to perform bhakti, but I have actually got distracted because of this mystic powers. बोला कि मेरे पास इतना ताकत है, अलग अलग 8 सिद्धियां हैं, that I get overwhelmed by the fame I get, and that's why I'm not focusing on bhakti. Let him, he is on the right direction. वो सही जा रहा है, उसको जाने दो, रोको मत उसको. तो this is, how the mystic yoga works. Basically it can distract one, because you get the power and you think, अरे लोग मुझे follow कर रहे हैं, मेरे इतने सारे followers हैं. Even nowadays you can see in YouTube itself there is so much mysticism. People have 1 lakh, 2 lakhs viewership of particular videos, and they are thinking, अरे मैं तो भगवान बन गया. No, 10 billion people are following me. बाप रे, कितना बड़ा आदमी हूँ मैं. This is also kind of mystic power for me. Then there is scriptural study. People perform swadhyaya yajna. And they just study, सिर्फ पढ़ाई करते हैं, bookworm, right? Which is good, because at least they are applying their intellect and their inclination towards studying the scriptures rather than studying some, reading some novels like Agatha Christie or, Robin Sharma and all those movies, all those books. And better than those. Then pranayam is also, kind of controlling the air. So these are the different kinds of sacrifices which Krishna is mentioning here, right? Okay, now let's move forward. इसमें कुछ हमको ज़्यादा interest नहीं है, because we are more interested in doing bhakti, by which we can go back to our Godhead. Now Krishna is talking about how all sinful reactions will be removed by knowledge. So Krishna is basically saying that by performing these yajnas, by performing the sacrifice, you get knowledge, right? That is what he is explaining. So let's go to 30th shloka. Chapita Kalmasha. Yeah, he's saying all these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reaction, because the sacrifice is done so that, now I told you in material world as well, you do sacrifice so that you can get some higher post, right? Similarly, when you do spiritual sacrifice, or at least a religious sacrifice, gradually your heart is getting purified. Like in this shloka, in 30th shloka it is said, right? Sarve api yate yajna vido yajna kshapata kalmasha. Kalmash jo hai dheere dheere dur ho raha hai, kyunki you are performing some spiritual activity. When you are performing your sacrifice, कुछ activity कर रहे हैं आप भगवान के लिए, उसके कारण हृदय साफ हो रहा है. यज्ञ शिष्टामृत भूजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातन. Sorry. Yeah. So Krishna is saying basically ये यज्ञ करने से क्या होने वाला है, ज्ञान मिलने वाला है, and by getting knowledge they are going to get free from these sinful reactions, and then they'll gradually move towards their eternal destination जो हमें चाहिए. Right? This is how it will happen. Okay. Then he is saying अगर sacrifice नहीं करेंगे, in the 31st shloka he is saying, very short shloka, नायम लोको अस्ति अवज्ञासो कुतो अन्य कुरुसत्तम. If one does not perform sacrifice, he will not be able to be happy in this material world. So that's why Krishna is saying कि sacrifice कितना महत्वपूर्ण है. Sacrifice करेंगे तो कुछ मिलेगा, नहीं करेंगे तो we will not be able to have. Even on the material platform I talked about, sacrifice नहीं करेंगे तो we will not be able to get the higher results like that. Okay, now let's move to 32nd shloka. That's why multiple types of sacrifice are mentioned in the Vedas. Is saying, right? Brahmana evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajjan viditan sarvan evam jnata vinokshase. All these sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, right? And all of them are born by different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. Right? Now you might say कि इतने प्रकार के sacrifice क्यों हैं? Can somebody tell me what the answer? लंबी खामोशी है तो I'll just get some answers. Why do you think there are so many different types of sacrifice? एक ही रखना चाहिए था ना? खामा का confusion क्यों कर रहे कृष्णा? What do you think?
There might be various purposes.
There will be various purposes. Okay. Yes. What else?
Cover all the level of people.
Yes, so both the answers are correct. Because there are different kinds of people at different levels. Not everybody is in the same level. Somebody wants to only donate money. उनको कुछ करना नहीं. उनको बोलोगे जप करो, जप जप वगैरह नहीं कर सकते. Or you tell them you know take भागवतम set. नहीं नहीं नहीं. बुक पढ़ने को मत बोलो बाबा. वो कुछ समझ में नहीं आता हमको. आप डोनेशन करना बोलो आ जाऊंगा. I'll do that. Or if you talk to somebody and say कि you come and do some seva in the temple, they will come and do that. But chanting करने बोलो chanting नहीं कर सकते. That's why the different people are at different levels. That's why these different kinds of sacrifices. That's why Bhagavad Gita is very inclusive. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, it is not extreme, right? Extreme philosophy कब होती है? You do this, या तो तुम गए. That is extremism. Krishna is so inclusive. Is one of the characteristics of Krishna is inclusive. सबके लिए कुछ ना कुछ तो है यार. That is called inclusiveness, right? So that's why Srila Krishna actually is such a broad-minded person. He doesn't mind कि कोई बात नहीं, तुम ये नहीं कर सकते ये करो, ये नहीं कर सकते ये करो, कुछ तो करो. That's what his philosophy is, right? Like that. And another aspect is that they are at different levels. They have a different purpose. Also, right? People are at the bodily level. Bodily platform पे सब लोग हैं ना. So now to bring them out of the bodily platform, you have to arrange some sacrifice. और लोगों का अच्छा यज्ञ करा, आग में कुछ डाल दिया, कुछ तो किया बाबा. That is what they think. So it is not easy for somebody to sacrifice their money or time or energy or senses. So when you do that, gradually you are actually progressing toward the spiritual life. Like that. Yes, Madhura is right. Krishna is open by all means to all levels of different people. Like that. Okay, now let's go to the next one. 33rd. Shreyan dravyamaya yajna jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parishamyate. What is Krishna saying here? He's saying the sacrifice performed with knowledge. Now this is very, very important. Huh? Sacrifice performed with knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. मतलब if you ask many people कि आप ये donation क्यों करते हो, तो कुछ तो आंसर देंगे. आप ये यज्ञ क्यों करते हो, they'll give some answer. But they do not know the real understanding. सत्यनारायण क्यों पूजा करते हो, गणपति की पूजा क्यों करते हो, दुर्गा की पूजा क्यों करते हो, लक्ष्मी पूजा क्यों करते हो, नहीं पता. हमारे परदादा करते थे इसलिए मैं भी करता हूँ. That is their answer, but that is not the right way. Krishna is here saying clearly, श्रेयां द्रव्यमया यज्ञ ज्ञान यज्ञ परंतप सर्वाम कर्माखिल पार्थ ज्ञान परिशम्यते परिशमाप्यते, which means Krishna is saying if you understand the purpose of the yajna and you have the transcendental knowledge, that is much better than just doing some sacrifice. सिर्फ कुछ करने के लिए करने से अच्छा है कि I have seen सत्यनारायण पूजा करते हैं, वो कुछ तो कथा बोल रहे हैं, कोई सुन नहीं रहा है. They are not understanding also what is happening there. And Swami also wants to finish the katha somehow. Fast बता के कुछ खत्म करना चाहता है वो. तो किसी को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, सिर्फ फॉर्मेलिटी करना है. That is the point, right? Now the purpose of the sacrifice, Prabhupada says in the purport, is to arrive at the status of complete knowledge. That is the crux of this section. कि sacrifice क्यों कर रहे हैं हम लोग, कि ज्ञान मिलना चाहिए. कौन सा ज्ञान? Can somebody tell me what knowledge is Krishna talking about here? Because he says here, if you look at the translation of 33, Krishna says, after all, O son of Pratha, all sacrifices culminate in transcendental knowledge. Now, which transcendental knowledge is he talking about? Yes? इतना difficult नहीं है.
Understanding Krishna.
Understanding Krishna, okay, that's one. What else?
The primary aim of life is to serve Krishna. Like whoever you serve, eventually you are serving Krishna.
Okay, primary aim is to serve Krishna. So it actually starts from understanding our purpose of life. कि मेरे जीवन का purpose क्या है भाई? Why am I getting these miseries? Who am I? That is the starting point, right? Because everybody wants to understand what is it with me, what is in it for me. That's their understanding. So they first of all try to कि ये मुझे कष्ट क्यों हो रहे हैं? Why are there so many miseries in my life? Better I find out why are there so many miseries. That's the starting point, right? Now then he goes and understands that what is the solution for these miseries. The solution is you are not this body, you are a soul, and you are thinking the problems of body are yours. That is the problem. That is your illusion, moha. Get rid of that first. Acha, aisa hai kya? Then what do? Then I understand, okay, Krishna is the supreme. Aham sarvasya prabhu. then I should engage myself in Krishna's service. Acha, then what is my relationship? Like that, gradually the transcendental knowledge is built up. So the entire purpose of the sacrifice is to get the knowledge. That's what Krishna says here, 33. Yajnas culminate in jnana. यज्ञ करने से ज्ञान मिलता है कि मैं कौन हूँ, मुझे कष्ट क्यों हो रहे हैं, who is Krishna, how am I connected. That is the crux of this section. तो ये हमें समझना बहुत जरूरी है. Like that. Okay. Now the section changes now. Now one might ask कि भाई ये transcendental knowledge कहाँ से मिलेगा? I don't have the knowledge. How do I get the knowledge? So Krishna now talks about Guru. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshini. So we discussed this earlier as well, but let's discuss it as well because it's very important. So Krishna talks about how a guru is very important in our life. A guru gives us the right knowledge. A guru gives us the path towards perfection. A guru will be able to liberate us if we surrender to him properly. If you do nonsense, it will not happen. But if you are fully surrendered, if you know if you are following the instructions of the Guru, Guru will be able to help us to get out of this material world. Right? So, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavad Prasada, Yasya Prasada, Nagati Kutopi. If Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Guru is not pleased, Krishna is not pleased. That's why it is very, very important to have a Guru first of all, but please the Guru. Right? Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir, Tasya Trikutartaha, Prakashanta Mahatmana. It is said basically, those who please their gurus, they are able to get all the imports of the Vedas into them. सब कुछ हमको समझ में आता है just by pleasing the guru. और कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Right? So in this section, we have talked about it many times, so I'll just briefly mention. So what are the qualifications of guru? A guru should be in the line of parampara. A guru should have realized the knowledge of the Vedas. He should have imbibed it in his life. Right? He should practice what he's preaching. He should be above modes. Modes उनको affect नहीं करने चाहिए. Like for us, the modes are affecting us. But for a guru who's a realized soul, modes should be beyond that. He should not be indulged in any sinful activity. He should teach the disciple how to perform bhakti, and he should be able to take the disciple and take him back to the spiritual world. That is the main aim of the guru. And many disciples of Srila Prabhupada actually, surrendered themselves for Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada himself actually depicted how a guru should be. He was such an ideal guru that he used to chastise, he used to cajole at the same time. He knew what to do at what time. Right? Also, disciples should be sincere, submissive. Here he talks about that with the pranipatena. You should ask questions about what? Who am I? What am I supposed to do? Right? All these questions you should ask in a surrendered, humble mood. Right? Then he should follow the instructions of the guru. He should be inquisitive. Questions पूछना चाहिए. और जो गुरु बोल रहा है वो follow करने का प्रयत्न करना चाहिए. Right? Like that. Serves the guru, applies what he hears. So all that is the disciples' qualifications. Then it should be, the guru should be in the proper sampradaya. It should not be from any other sampradaya. Authority नहीं है, sampradaya से नहीं आ रहा तो कुछ भी हम बोल सकते हैं. Like there are so many gurus nowadays who do not have any authority. कोई discipline succession नहीं है. कुछ भी बोलते हैं और लोग को हाँ क्या बोल रहे भाई, वाह 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 क्या बोल रहे हैं. They don't understand anything, but they still are trying to follow them. Like that. Okay, now let's go to the next. Now 35 is saying, Yajñatvana punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drakshahai atmani atomai. He's saying, what are the benefits of transcendental knowledge? Having obtained real knowledge, right, from a self-realized soul, he will never fall into the illusion. Abhi gyan mil gaya na humko. I am not this body, Krishna is the supreme, I have got a connection, this material world is temporary, I have to get rid of this. Gyan mil gaya na. They will never go back to the original state. Original state means material world ka original state. We will never go back there because na punar moham, no bewilderment. For example, a child wants to touch the diya, the light, fire ko touch karna chahta hai kyunki usko attractive hai. So it goes and touches it. And as soon as he touches it, he gets the heat and it feels the pain. Now, no matter what you try to do, and bring that diya in front of the child, he will not accept it. बोलेगा नहीं मैं को दूर रहने का. Similarly, once when you get the knowledge, you understand this material world is so miserable. दुखालय माशा होते हैं उधर वापस जाना ही नहीं है. That is called as na punarmoham. You never are bewildered again, right? Because by this knowledge you can see everywhere. Krishna सब जगह है, कौन हूँ मैं, वगैरह वगैरह, right? Like that. Next, अपिचेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृतोत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानं प्लवेनैव vrijinam santarshise. So Krishna is saying that even if you are considered the most sinful, such an amazing shloka this is a hope-giving shloka for all of us, at least for me. Api chedasi papabhya, मतलब बहुत पाप भी किए होंगे तुमने. But when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to overcome all the miseries. सर्वम ज्ञान प्लवेनैव वृजिनम संतरश्य, मतलब क्या कि बहुत पाप किए होंगे हमने, और अभी ज्ञान मिल गया हमको, ट्रांसेंडेंट नॉलेज मिल गया, एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू फॉलो द इंस्ट्रक्शंस, then we will be still be able to overcome the miseries. What are the examples? Ratnakar converted into Valmiki, Mrigari hunter becoming a sage, Jagai Madai, they were very crooked people, they became saint, right? Then there was a person in Maharashtra in one of the villages. He was such a gunda, रोज दारू पीता था, हंगामा करता था, and his father was such a loving and such a great personality, saintly person. So when the father was dying, he called this fellow and said कि यार तूने जिंदगी में जो भी किया होगा, now that I am dying, I am asking for you for a wish. At least one time read Bhagavad Gita, he told him. And this fellow said, ठीक है, अभी माप भर रहा है तो बोलना पड़ेगा हाँ. He said yes. But after the dad died, his activities became more and more worse. He started, drinking wine more and more and troubling people. घर में आके बीवी को लात मारता था रात को. So one day he remembered, अरे यार मेरे पिता ने मुझे बोला है कि भगवद गीता पढ़ना है. So what did he do? One night he came home and he asked the wife, Bhagavad Gita लेके आओ. And he started reading. Like that 6 months passed and this guy became a saintly person. The point here is कितने भी पाप किए होंगे हमने, अगर हम sincerely instruction को follow करेंगे, then we will be able to reach our ultimate goal. There is no trouble in that. कोई trouble है ही नहीं. Krishna is talking about the 2-3 shlokas like सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य मामेव शरणं. And then here अपीच्यते पापेभ्यः अपीच्यते दुराचारः भजतो माम अनन्य भाग, ये भी एक श्लोका है in the 7th chapter. तो कृष्ण is saying कि तुमने पाप किए होंगे तो उसको भूल जाओ, तुम अभी फोकस करो. You focus now to get the transcendent knowledge. Now you got the knowledge. Do not ever leave the boat. अभी बोट को मत छोड़ो. Now you might say कि मैंने पाप किए. If you are not sinned, then you will not get this body, which means we have sinned. That is the clear cut answer, right? Like that. Okay. Now next 37. यथैदांशी समिद्नोग्नेर भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन ज्ञानादि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा. Krishna is saying the same shloka is repeated in a still different way. As the blazing fire turns fire into ashes, O Arjuna, so the fire of knowledge burns ashes the material activities. इस आग लगने के कारण लकड़ी में आग लगती है. Similarly, Krishna is saying, as soon as the fire of knowledge is there, all our sinful activities are washed away. जो भी हम गलत कर रहे थे सब गया. Right? Like I told you, 13 years back when I was in UK, I used to do all nonsensical activities. So abhi it is all past now. Right? Although there are a lot of traces of that and my mind is still very dirty, but at least the activities are more or less gone. 90% तो गया, activities तो गया. मन में desire है, मन अभी तक पूरी तरह से pure नहीं हुआ है. It will take a long time, right? और बहुत सारे पाप किए हैं. But then those activities have stopped, and more spiritual activities we are taking up because of the jnana. ज्ञान के कारण, ज्ञान के अग्नि के कारण सब कुछ भस्मसात हो गया. That's what Krishna is saying here. And along with that, what is Krishna saying? Nahi jnane sadrisham pavitram hi vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. Right? How long is it going to take, Baba? Because this knowledge which is getting, right? Krishna is saying this knowledge is most transcendental thing in this thing, right? Such knowledge is achieved by mature fruit of mysticism, Krishna is saying, right? And one who's achieved this enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Now, point here is, actually, if you understand what this is, you don't just get the knowledge. The knowledge is achieved by mature fruit of devotional service. इसका मतलब है कि once we start practicing bhakti, धीरे 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 ज्ञान हमको आता है. ऐसा नहीं कि सब कुछ इमीडिएटली आता है. धीरे धीरे it depends upon the reciprocation you have with Krishna. ये थमाम प्रपद्यन्ते ताम तदेव भजामि हम मम वर्तमानो वर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः. The way you are surrendering, that much knowledge Krishna is going to open up. This actually, whatever is happening is Krishna is removing the covering of his curtain from our eyes. हमारे आंखों से पर्दा निकाल रहे हैं. तो जितना आप surrender करोगे उतना पर्दा निकालोगे. If you try to do sinful activities, the guilt close. Curtain को बंद कर देता. If you try to intensify your bhakti, ज्ञान युक्त वासुदेव भगवती भक्ति योग प्रयोजितः जनयत्यशुद्ध वैराग्यम ज्ञानम च इदैतिकम. Krishna is saying by performing Vasudeva Bhakti, what is happening? ज्ञान और वैराग्य साथ में आ रहा है. तो धीरे धीरे जैसे गाड़ी आगे बढ़ेगी, ज्ञान बढ़ेगा और धीरे धीरे कवरिंग निकलती जाएगी. That is the point basically, right? So Krishna is saying कालीन आत्मनि विन्दति. कितना टाइम लगेगा? काफी टाइम लग सकता है. But it all depends upon our श्रद्धा. श्रद्धा अगर बहुत है तो you will be able to reach immediately. एक ही लाइफ में जा सकते हैं हम लोग अगर श्रद्धा है तो, right? And then later he says अज्ञाशास्त्रधनाश्च संशयात्म विनश्यति नायम लोकोस्ति न पर न सुखम संशयात्म. अगर श्रद्धा नहीं है ना, कुछ नहीं हो सकता. If you do not have minute श्रद्धा, we cannot ever actually be able to perform bhakti in our life. That's why Krishna is saying shraddhava labhate jnanam achirena digacchati. Quickly achieve spiritually. If you look at the translation, Prabhupada is saying a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues the senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme goal. झट से आपको मिलता है. कब? श्रद्धा फास्ट होती है. उसके एक स्टोरी है. One time there was a cobbler, and probably you would have heard the story, but anyways, I think it's a very good context in which we can hear this. There was a cobbler and there was a brahmana, and Narada observed both of them. The brahmana used to chant the mantras, used to follow all the rituals, बहुत अच्छे से करता था. And the cobbler was doing his own work, जूते साफ करता था, जूते करता था. But he used to worship Ganga, used to worship Krishna by whatever money he used to get. So Narada Muni was very inquisitive. बोला कि विष्णु के पास गए, बोला कि भगवान ये मैंने 2 लोगों को देखा है, बहुत अच्छी भक्ति कर रहे हैं. Can you please tell me how quickly they are going to get this thing, right? So before he went to Vishnu, he asked these 2 fellows कि कितने अच्छी भक्ति कर रहे हो वगैरह वगैरह. तो I am going to विष्णु लोका, वैकुंठ जा रहा हूँ, कुछ प्रश्न है क्या आपको विष्णु के लिए? तो दोनों ने पूछा कि प्लीज आप मुझे हमारे लिए पूछे कि मेरा इस भौतिक जगत से गमन कब होने वाला है? When am I going to go back to the spiritual world? So he asked the question. So Krishna said, जो cobbler है इसी जन्म में वापस आ जाएगा, और जो ब्राह्मण है उसको और लाखों साल लगे. तो नारद मुनि वो सर पड़े, बोला अरे ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? वो ब्राह्मण तो 24 घंटे आपका ही नाम लेता है. तो बोला नहीं, जाके तुम बताओ उसको कि you tell him that I am actually weaving an elephant through the eye of a needle, and you see the reaction. So Narad Muni goes there. Narad Muni, the fellow asked, the brahmana asked, did you ask Vishnu when am I going to get liberation? When am I going to go back to spiritual world? Narad Muni said, actually I asked the question, but Vishnu said that it is going to take many years for it. The brahmana was very angry. Well, kya? I am doing so much seva, I am, rituals, this, that, and you are saying I will not get released this life? It's not possible, impossible. In fact, you are not even gone to Vishnu Loka. If you are gone, then tell me what was he doing? So Narad Muni said he was weaving an elephant through the eye of a needle. So he started laughing. हो ही नहीं सकता, पागल है क्या? एक सुई के आग से कोई हाथी को आग कर सकता है क्या? This is what I am telling you. Not even met Vishnu. Then Narad Muni understood. Now I understand why this guy will not go back to spiritual. Because he doesn't even have a tinge of faith in Krishna. He went to the cobbler and he told the same story to the cobbler. The cobbler said he started dancing. बोला कि my Lord is so great, he's weaving a elephant through the eye of a needle. Wow! ऐसे करके नाच रहा था. नारद मुनि ने बोला कि अरे अनपढ़ व्यक्ति, तुमको पता नहीं कि ऐसा कोई कर सकता है क्या? Why do you believe in that? That guy said, is it hard to believe? I am sitting under a banyan tree, and every seed of this banyan tree has got the potential to grow into another banyan tree. That is what my Lord can do. एक banyan seed में हजारों झाड़ आ सकते हैं. What is that? What is the difficulty for the Lord to weave a needle from the elephant from the needle? कुछ difficulty. It is possible. Now Narad Muni understood. Yes, whatever Krishna was saying, perfect था. Because this guy doesn't have even any faith at all, right? That's why faith is very important, and that will grow. जितना हमारा ज़्यादा faith grow होगा, उतना साधना अच्छा होगा. इतना साधना अच्छा होगा, उतना faith grow. दोनों बहुत important, right? So like that. And the next part is Krishna is saying, if you don't have faith, you are gone. कुछ नहीं हो सकता तुम्हारा. Like that is saying. Okay. Now last couple of slokas and then we should end. Now Krishna is again saying, yoga sannasta karmanam jnana sanchina samchayam Atmavantam na karmani nibadanti dhananjaya. Krishna is saying in 41, one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendent knowledge, is situated in the self, thus is not bound by reaction. Now Krishna is actually clearly saying, कि जो भक्ति कर रहा है उसको ज्ञान मिलता है. One who is doing bhakti, he is going to get knowledge, and by getting knowledge, he is situated in the self, and he doesn't have any reaction. He is saying basically transcendental knowledge and karma yoga go hand in hand. Yoga sannyasta karmanam means in work. Jnana sanchinna samshaya means by knowledge. He's performing his karma. He will not get any reactions. And then he says, tasmad jnana sambhutam hritastam jnana atmana chitvaidam samshayam yogam atitushta bharata. Therefore, जो doubts तुम्हारे मन में आए हैं उसको ज्ञान की तलवार से काट दो. Right? And stand up Bharata and fight. Now Krishna summarized the chapter and he's saying निष्काम कर्म योग करो भगवान का ट्रांसेंडेंटल नॉलेज यूज करके. दोनों पैरेलल जाना चाहिए. That way you will not get any reactions, and that way you will be able to proceed in bhakti. Now these two slokas again confuse Arjuna, and that's why he will ask again in 5th sloka, Krishna, you are again confused. एक साइड बोलते हो कि कर्म करो, एक साइड बोलते हो कि ज्ञान को you nurture ज्ञान. How is it possible to do both things? He's going to ask in the 5th chapter. Okay, so Hare Krishna. I think we'll stop here. It's exactly 9 o'clock. If there are any questions or thoughts or realizations, we can take them.